Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are playing Man the Guns, the new expansion for Hearts of Iron 4. It's a very much naval focused expansion, so we want to find out whether naval warfare can be done via torpedoes, whether torpedoes are worthless or whether they are capable of defeating the United States in war. So we are playing as Japan. The basic premise is that Japan wants to become an empire. In order to become an empire, it needs access to the resources of China, so it needs to subjugate China and be in war with China. Being at war with China will put us into conflict with the United States, or in diplomatic conflict with the United States and the West. Being in diplomatic conflict with West means we will be subject to an oil embargo, so we will not be able to access the oil and trade for the oil from the Dutch East Indies. Not being able to trade for that oil means our war machine is likely to falter and we'll be helpless. So that means we will need to access that oil by force, so that will put us into open war with the West. And being in open war with the West means being in war with the United States and facing off against the United States Navy. So that is something that we need to be prepared for. We want to build up a torpedo fleet to encounter their battleships and carriers and see whether that is useful. Before we do that, we will start the game over here and see as our watch as our armies are getting to the border with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union is the first threat that we do need to eliminate, and I need to make sure that our resources aren't too low. We are running a slight deficit in rubber and steel, but it's not that critical, I believe, for now. So we've redistributed our fleets a little bit. The Kido Butai, the largest fleet, is... Yeah, the Kido Butai, yeah. The largest fleet is over here in Japan. The other fleets, the submarine fleets, are conducting maneuvers, and I do want to find out whether you are indeed, in fact, gaining any experience from that. So are you? No, you're not gaining Seawolf experience, at least for now. That's a little bit unfortunate, but we'll have to see. Right, so the first conflict that we have will be against the Soviets. We think it's going to be a very limited conflict down here. We are sending our Marine Squadron up here. You can see the first couple of divisions are arriving. A lot of our divisions are being redeployed to the Soviet border, because, yeah, that's really something that we do need to do. Right, we are slowly gaining some naval experience. It's not actually that bad. For just our submarines doing the exercises. You can also see in the regards to the new fuel mechanic that we are not losing that much fuel, even though we are gaining some naval experience, so that's good. I did read a couple of after action reports on the developer diaries, and I think there the Japanese player said he had a lot of problems with naval experience. Maybe using the submarines is a way around that. We'll have to see. Maybe they rebalanced it also. Right, so you can see that a lot of our guys are ready over here. Why do you suffer from attrition? Okay, so some of our allies seem to be starting from attrition. That's interesting. And I don't quite know why. I don't think they should be out of supply. It's basically Manchukuo, so it's basically their country. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. Good. We are not training anyone right now. That's because we are not producing enough infantry equipment. In fact, we are 10,000 units short of infantry equipment because, well, we are reinforcing our units. So there's no real sense in training up anyone right now. Although, you know, having said that, I think we might want to recruit a couple of... Let's train up a couple of Marine squadrons. So we want to train, let's say, two more units, and we will be placing them, let's say, in Shanghai, and you will, of course, be part of the naval forces. Good. It will take quite a long time to recruit that because, again, we don't really have the rifles to do that, and that requires 1,000 more rifles. So yeah, it's basically going to have to wait. But we're going to make sure that these guys do receive the rifles that we've got first. So I think that should be fine. We are not producing tactical bombers. That is very true. That is maybe something that we do want to do. We're also producing some fuel storage tanks, which I think is a good idea. So yeah, let's go ahead and build some tactical bombers. You can see we are building up a lot of ships. And I hope that they will be coming in useful. Right, so interwar fighters, carrier fighters, close air support for carriers, naval bombers, carrier naval bombers, and actual bombers. So yeah, that is something that we can put up. We're still producing interwar fighters? I didn't quite know that. Oh well, it should be fine, I think. Right, in terms of our focus areas, we are purging the Kudusha faction, which will put us on a fascist path and allow us to secure China, develop the southern strategy, which means going in for the Dutch East Indies, but more importantly go for the fourth research slot. I think that's our highest priority, and after that we will at some point be looking at the naval side of things. So I think we can increase the timing here a little bit. We should actually pause for a second here because I realize our fuel storage is completely full. And you know what? I think that actually means that we do want to build up another fuel silo. We're not going to be able to build that at the same time, but I think it is worthwhile to do more of that. And I also think that we want to have a look at our navy and potentially train up some more squadrons. Let's also keep in mind that some of our guys really seem to be hurting over here, so this guy has lost quite a bit, so we will send him to repairs. We will also tell this strike group, is that actually something that you need to do over here? I don't want to reinforce you. I think you should automatically split off most heavily damaged ships, and that's fine. Good. And likewise, that should be happening over here. Let's have a look at these guys to see whether they have suffered any damage. Yeah, some of these guys have. Is it always 90%? Yeah, it seems to be. But they are sending home the accidents from training 3, total damage 25. Okay. Naval accidents. Of total damage. I didn't lose 30 submarines, did I? Accidents, sunk. No. It's just total damage. It's not damage. It's not sunk submarines. No. Okay, that's fine. We can send more people then to train. We should also have a brief look at how much experience that does give these guys. Quite a bit actually. So they are now fresh. I think that does mean we want to probably train up some of our anti-submarine warfare squadrons as well. I suspect that the fuel requirements for these guys will not be overly critical, but we'll have to see. I also do want to send you to automatically split off because, yeah, training accidents do happen, but they shouldn't be too hard. We also have a decision available. We can abandon the naval treaty. That would allow us to build larger ships, but since I would like to modify them quite heavily before we do that, I don't think that's worthwhile for now. So let's actually turn off the alert for that. That's fine. And look at that, we are already again at full fuel capacity. So we are capable of training up all of these guys. Admittedly, they are light ships, but still we are capable of doing that. And you are simply being repaired, aren't you? We should also briefly look at the naval repair screen over here. So all of these things are what we can repair, but are we? Yeah, you are being repaired. Are you using... what are you using for that? Just generic stuff that we have? Yeah, so you seem to be pulling off. Or is that the one that's being repaired? No, you are a new submarine that's being built, aren't you? Yeah, I think so. Okay, can we actually rename this fleet? And I'm just going to do that on screen for a second. Reserve. Right. So yeah, I think you're just pulling off the normal fleets that we do have, which I think is fine. But that does mean we can potentially train up our Kido-Butai over here. Get it a little bit more experience, because again, our fuel is full. I expect that that is gonna put our fuel to a lot of tests, but let's see. So yeah, we are sending it out now, and you can see that we are immediately dropping in our fuel consumption. And we only have enough fuel for 200 days all of a sudden. So yeah, we'll only be able to do that for a very, very limited time. But on the other hand, it does give us a little bit of experience, and I think that's a very fine thing to have. Right, we should also very soon get the new our focus area done. Why are we using so much steel? Is that for the... Yeah, that's probably because we are... Okay, yeah, let's trade for steel. I think we want to trade with the German Reich because they will probably be our closest ally. And that's alright. I wish there was an ability or a way that we could set a threshold to do that. So we are losing quite a bit of... or suffering from quite a bit of damage in for our destroyers, for some of our submarines, for some of our Agaki class even. So that's the heavy carrier over here. So that actually has been damaged quite a bit. But on the other hand, we are gaining quite a bit of experience. So I think that's nice. We're also getting some Navy experience, which we will be using to modify our ships. Right, so far everything is pretty good. Yeah, you are suffering some damage all around, but again, all in all it's fine. So you're a reserve fleet. Why are you reserve fleet? I think you might have just been finished. Which is alright, of course, but what we can do is, and I actually like that new system over here quite a bit, you can set a task force to have a certain composition. So we are going to save this as a standard submarine group, which is supposed to have 6 submarines. And that means this guy will be pulling in this reserve squadron at some point, I hope. At least that's the way I understand it should be doing it. Maybe it's not good, gonna do that while it's training, but well, we'll have to see. Yeah, so more losses, our fuel is dwindling. We have more decisions available, and that's interesting. We also have insufficient resources, but that's not too drastic. Missing equipment production, you know what, I would just want to get rid of that notification. So what we're going to do is build an aircraft just normally. I don't think we're actually going to commit anything to it. We're also falling back on our construction because we are building up or have to repair all of the stuff that does get damaged in training. But for now that seems to be alright. So let's look at the treaty or at the decisions that we can do. I don't think we're going to cheat on the treaties for now. There's also going to be the second naval conference very soon. We are not going to interfere with the inter-service rivalry for now. We could prioritize steel for guns, which would allow our factory output to be a little bit better. But for now I think we're not going to do that. So you know what, that's going to be fine. Let's disable all of these notifications. And that hopefully promises of peace. That is also not something that we do need to do because our stability and war support is actually pretty high. We are fascist at the end of the day and militaristic, so yeah, that's pretty good for the game. Things to say in Hearts of Iron 4. Okay, let's not go overboard over here. Let's just keep on watching the training accidents, which seem fine. You can see that they are detaching all of these groups, and I do love that it's not as much micromanagement. Also, these guys have way fewer submarines now than they had before, because some of these guys are repairing. But yeah, repairs seem to have a higher priority than building up stuff. Let's just keep watching this stuff over here so that we are making sure that we are actually still building at least our Congo class, our actual carrier, our converted carrier hull over here, and that's nice. Good. We also purged the faction, which is giving us a little bit more stability. Nice, but not critical. We might actually have taken one of these decisions on the political actions. No, why would we? Okay, let's go for the next national focus. The next national focus is going to be to try to home in on the national research policy, which does give us another research slot. So yeah, let's go for the additional civilian factories. We have insufficient resources. I suspect Germany is doing stuff. I suspect that's because of our repairs. So let's buy more stuff from the Germans for them reoccupying the Rhineland, which of course in Germany is one of the heaviest steel producing regions, but there's no connection to that. We are also now capable of testing the Soviets, and that would be very nice. Effects when removed, activate window. So yeah, that would put us on a path where we are escalating the war efforts with them. I'm not sure we want to do that right now, or whether we want to do the army expansion law first, because that would give us a little bit more army experience, and that wouldn't be too bad. We're also training up more units over here right now, which I think is pretty nice. We can also add one more unit. We can't add more because there's a limit to how many special forces you can have, and that has been reached. So you're trained. Oh, and you're gaining more experience? Actually, by training? I didn't think that was possible, but apparently it is, so that's nice to see. You guys have all also been able to get to the training level, so that's nice. Are we gaining any experience on you guys to be able to go for Seawolf? We are not. That is very, very unfortunate. I would have hoped that the admirals do gain some experience from training exercises as well. But they don't. And we are still losing steel. What are we using so much steel for? Need for production lines. And when you say production lines, I'm guessing you mean naval repair crews. Although it's kind of funny that it should require so much more steel to repair our ships than to actually build them, because I understand that's what's going on. Right, okay, it does mean though that we do need to buy yet more stuff from the Germans. Everything else is fine. Also our oil consumption is pretty alright for now. We have discovered electronic engineering, that's pretty good. A radio is nice. I do want to get the reduction on all of our research though, so we are going to go for that. And keep an eye on our resources. So far everything is very good. Events timeout, that's no good. What does that refer to? The second naval conference. But it's not something that we do need to deal with, is it? Decisions available, test the Soviets. Yeah, it's not something that I do think that we can do. But we will probably get a notification for that. Right, the Spanish Civil War has happened, so basically over here. I'm guessing it's fairly standard, which historically in a lot of Hearts of Iron games means the Republicans win. And they do seem to be making some progress over here, so potentially cutting off Madrid. Oh, although maybe they gambled a little bit over here and will lose some squadrons or divisions, but we'll have to see. For our purposes, of course, it would be a little bit better if National Spain won, and we could indeed maybe send them support, but well, I don't know whether that is really required. We are also kept on command power. We could think about promoting some of these guys. Charismatic would be nice. On the other hand, I'm more looking for you to pick traits towards Logistic Wizard, because in China we'll probably be facing some logistics problems. Infantry Leader would also be nice. You can't be promoted. I think you could, but I don't think these things are too useful for you. The guy on the first army though, organization first. Charismatic is nice. I mean, it's pretty good. Second army, can you do anything? Guerrilla fighter for entrenchment speed. It's useful, but then again, you are a little bit more focused on attacks, so I don't think that's really required. How about you? You can't do anything, so honestly, yeah, no. We don't really need that. For the Navy, I don't think we can or should be picking any of that either. Well, from Yamato we might actually. Minesweeper and Mine Layer is certainly irrelevant. Concealment Expert might be okay. I'm thinking about Fighter Director, because we are very much focused on using our carriers to prevent the enemy from conducting too many strikes on us. So you know what, let's actually do that. And I think that's a good idea. In the support group, I do not think that you can... Ooh, you can actually. So do you want to use mine layer or mine sweeper? I think naval mine laying might be a good thing for you. And that should cost us all of our command points for quite a while. Insufficient resources. Let's watch out what's going on over here so that we can reduce our steel consumption should it be required. Second London Treaty, Naval Treaty signed. Delegations from Britain, France, Italy and Japan and the US met in December of 1935 to discuss a renewal of the First London Naval Treaty, which restricted the number and size of cruisers and submarines. Negotiations turned quite heated over Italy's war in Ethiopia and Japan's desire to be seen as equal to Britain and the US. Indeed, we want to be seen as that. With the negotiations now at an end, the signatory nations have agreed on limits to the size of battleships and aircraft carriers in the hopes of preventing another ruinous arms race. This will safeguard peace better than any super battleship. Japan, of course, was historically the only nation to develop a super battleship, so that's an interesting statement right there. Let's also keep on having an eye on our naval stuff, because I think we are suffering quite a bit from some damage over here. On the other hand, we are also gaining quite a bit of experience, I have to say. So all of these guys are up to trained. How about these submarines? They are actually at regular. That's pretty nice, I have to admit. So you're also detached. So I wonder, does that give us better... Ooh, basic machine tools. We can go for concentrated or dispersed industry, and that is one of the most important things that you'll probably decide in the game early on. I think dispersed industry is a little bit better. The basic difference is concentrated industry, especially over the long term, gives you quite a bit more output from your factories if you can keep your production lines running for a very long time. On the other hand, dispersed industry does give you a little bit more flexibility in switching around, and I think Japan is one of the nations that does require quite a bit of flexibility. So we're going to go for that to build up our industry. We should also potentially be looking at some other things. Everything else here is 1935, so we're not going to do that. Air would be nice. Infantry, I think, is the next most important thing. Indeed, because we will be in war against the Soviet, or in a limited war against the Soviets very soon. I think that would be one of the best things that we can do right now. We could also have a look at more of the naval stuff, because we are making quite some nice progress in regards to our naval experience, I have to say. So it might be... Ooh, magnetic detonator. I want that. I so want that. But that is something that we can research later on, because that's not required in our current naval models. The best things that we are looking for, of course, would be the advanced launcher, but really not something that we can afford right now. On the other hand, just focusing on some of the things that we do want to focus on, namely the torpedo warfare, does give us quite a benefit over here, because we don't have to research everything in particular in regards to battleships and carriers, so that's nice. But yeah, for now I think more infantry equipment is a good choice. It's gonna give us a slight edge in a short while, so that's good. Decisions available, yeah, testing the Soviets. Available planes, that's alright. I wonder why that was delayed. Good, okay. We have guided the Sabarus. So, do we want to go straight for national mobilization and national research policy? That would be about 140 days. If we want to get that before testing the Soviets, I think that would be a good idea. That would also give us enough time to research the... what was it called? Yeah, basically the support stuff. Construction 1, all of that is pretty basic stuff, I would say. We are of course suffering a little bit from the research speed reduction, but you know what, I think that's fine. So, for now, I'm pretty happy actually about the Navy experience that we got. I'm not quite sure why everyone else was a little bit more skeptical there, but you can also see that we are now gaining about twice as much as we got when we were only training our submarines, and we are guzzling a lot more fuel. So I'm not sure whether this is the first exploit that we discovered, but you can see that maybe training up the submarines does give us more bang for fuel consumption than the Kido Butai. I'm not sure that's entirely realistic, because the Kido Butai, which I suspect we don't actually have to train anymore, is, of course, you gain a lot more experience in real life from conducting full fleet-sized maneuvers. On the other hand, just the small ship stuff, I'm not sure that would truly give you that much experience. But you know what? I'm happy about the naval experience for now, and we'll have to see how that turns out in the midterm. For now, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm probably gonna skip a little bit ahead, just to the point where we are closer to getting into the war with the Soviets, into the limited border conflict, I should say, with the Soviets, because there's not that much that we need to do, and honestly the build-up time is a little bit dull, so yeah, we will have to see about that. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.